Berkeley, California, an anti-hate rally was disrupted when scores of anarchists wearing black clothing and masks stormed the demonstration in Berkeley and attacked several supporters of President Donald Trump. But police were able to head off any wider violence. Thousands gathered over the weekend in response to a planned anti-Marxism protest that was cancelled amid concerns demonstrators might be attacked. The counter-demonstration was largely peaceful for several hours until the Antifa, or anti-fascists, overran police barricades around the protest area. The violence on Sunday was swift but brief, and among those targeted was Joey Gibson, leader of the right-wing organization Patriot Prayer that had called off a demonstration a day earlier in San Francisco. Berkeley Police Chief Andrew Greenwood said officers were told not to actively confront the anarchists. He applauded officers' restraint, saying it forestalled greater violence. 6 people suffered injuries, including 2 who were hospitalized, and 1 officer was injured while making an arrest and several others were hit with paint. There were 13 arrests on various charges including assault with a deadly weapon. The potential use of force became very problematic given the thousands of peaceful protesters in the park, Greenwood said. Once anarchists arrived, it was clear there would not be dueling protests between left and right, so he ordered his officers out of the park and allowed the anarchists to march in. There was no need for a confrontation over a grass patch, Greenwood said. Several hours later, the demonstration broke up without any further incidents. Officials in Berkeley and San Francisco had been girding for the possibility of violent clashes at right-wing demonstrations. But Saturdays in San Francisco by Patriot Prayer was called off, and police blocked access to a public square where Gibson had planned to hold a news conference. He instead held it outside the city and criticized police for not doing enough to ensure supporters' safety at the originally scheduled location of Crissy Field. Still hundreds of counter-protesters marched through the city. San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott said Saturday that police made a single arrest for public intoxication during demonstrations organized by left-wing groups. The anti-Marxist rally in Berkeley was organized by Amber Cummings, a transsexual supporter of Trump. Citing the potential for violence, she canceled the event but said she would show up on her own. She was not seen there, though Gibson vowed to come, and when he did, anarchists set upon him. They pepper-sprayed him and chased him as he backed away with his hands held in the air. Gibson rushed behind a line of police wearing riot gear, who set off a smoke bomb to drive away the attackers. Separately, groups of hooded, black-clad protesters attacked at least 4 other men in or near the park, kicking and punching them until the assaults were stopped by police. At one point, an anti-rally protester denounced a Latino man holding a "God Bless Donald Trump" sign. "You are an immigrant," Carla Fonseca said. "You should be ashamed of yourself." Several other people also yelled at the man, who said he was born in Mexico but supports Trump's proposal to build a wall along the border. Groups that planned the counter-demonstrations were concerned that white nationalists might show up and there would violence like the kind 2 weeks in Charlottesville, Virginia, where a woman was killed. No white nationalists showed up, and only a handful of pro-Trump demonstrators were visible in the crowd. Anti-rally protesters chanted slogans and carried signs that said, "Berkeley stands united against hate." Copyright 2017 The Associated Press. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, rewritten or redistributed.